Exercise has no role to play in weight loss. If it wasn't true, I wouldn't be saying it. This is the absolute fact. I'm not fond of quoting controversy, but it so happens that our beliefs are so far away from the truth that when anyone speaks the truth or stands by the truth, he sounds or she sounds like a controversy theorist. Exercise requires energy, and therefore it puts a demand of energy on the body. If you feed that demand, you become hungry. If you feed that demand with foods that do not help you lose fat, you're not going to lose weight. So if weight loss is your sole expectation out of exercise, you're going to come very, very disappointed. Did you know that on a normal global diet of today, which is a high carbohydrate diet, you would need to run 1 hour every day for 40 days just to lose 1 pound. 1 pound is 454 grams. To lose weight, you need to be losing fat. And to do that, you need a diet which will help you to get rid or burn or metabolize the accumulated fat in your body. If such a diet and exercise can be put together, magic can be worked and weight loss can be very rapid and very fast. So today I'm here to tell you about the various benefits of exercise. Sadly, weight loss is not one of them, so let's leave weight loss aside and move on with the subject. So let's categorize the benefits of exercise into two. The major benefit comes from the benefit to the brain, and the minor benefits come from your bodily benefits or physical benefits. So what are the brain benefits of exercise? Exercise makes the brain produce a lot of additional endorphins. What are endorphins? Endorphins are chemicals or hormones to give you or control your body in various ways. So some of the endorphins which are released just because of exercise make you very happy or give you a sense of well-being. So that's the feel-good factor. And because of the feel-good factor, naturally stress, depression is taken care of. Then there are other hormones which help you to focus very sharply. So your attention span becomes much better. What does that do? That gives you an enhancement in your memory. Then you also improve your reaction time. So these are some of the benefits that the additional endorphins provide to you. Apart from this, there are certain growth factors in the brain which get a rapid boost. More and more growth factor is produced because of exercise. This gives rise to brand new brain cells. Now, the creation of new cells is a function of youth. When you are growing as a small child, you are actually developing more cells than you are destroying every day. And by your mid-age, you reach a plateau phase where the new production of cells and the decline of cells, the destruction of cells is almost balanced. And as you become older, the destruction of cells becomes quite a lot more, much more and increased compared to the production of cells. So this boost in growth factor or new brain cells that get generated because of exercise, what does it do? It helps you to be youthful, or in a way you start to fight aging itself. So these are some of the benefits. I call them the mental benefits or the brain benefits of exercise. Among the physical benefits of exercise, let's first talk about the benefits to the cardiovascular system or your circulatory system, your blood circulation system. When you exercise, your muscles start to contract and expand very rapidly depending on what kind of exercise you're doing. Now, once they start doing that, naturally the energy which may already be stored in the muscles is depleted very soon, and the muscles become hungry for more nutrients because more energy is now required. Now what happens? Because of that, the heart is asked to pump a lot faster. You will notice that whenever you exercise, your heart rate goes up. There are lots of heart rate monitors available these days. You can monitor it for yourself. It's not just the heart, because the heart is delivering nutrients and very much required oxygen to the muscles. So because of the oxygen, the lungs are requested to keep pace along with the hearts. Not only is the nutrition and the oxygen required to be delivered to the muscles very rapidly, the blood that is now depleted of nutrients needs to be brought back to the heart and the lungs much faster, so that the lungs can clear out the carbon dioxide, purify the blood, send it back to the heart, and then back again into the arteries. So this is one cardiovascular benefit. The other benefit from exercise comes, and this is very important, comes to your immunity. Let me tell you how. The obvious and visible impact on your immune system while exercising comes from the process of sweating. How does sweating work, or why does it happen? Basically, when your muscles are being worked very rapidly and the blood is being pumped to these muscles to deliver nutrients and oxygen at a much faster pace than normal, the temperature of the muscles increases and your whole body heats up. So to keep you cool, this is the natural reaction of the body which tries to maintain homeostasis. So your temperature is increasing and therefore the body is asked to start sweating, release this water so that it can keep you cool. Now the sweat not only keeps you cool but also helps in eliminating, removing a lot of stored toxins, poisons and bad stuffs in your body. So sweat is a very good system of flushing out all the unwanted stuff. That's the visible part of how exercise helps your immune system. Then there is an invisible part. For understanding that, let's go a little deeper into the circulatory systems that exist within the body. So for your information, there are two circulation systems inside the body. One is a close-ended cardiovascular or the blood circulation system that we just spoke about, where the heart pumps and the blood is circulated everywhere in the body, then brought back, and so on and so forth. So this is a closed system, A, because the arteries themselves are enclosed, and B, because the traffic of the blood is both ways, away from the heart as well as to the heart when the veins get back the blood. There is another open-ended system, open-ended in the sense that the flow in this system is only one way, from the extremities, from the cells of the body back towards the heart, not to the heart but towards the heart. This system is known as the lymphatic system. To understand how the lymphatic system works, let me just explain the cardiovascular system in a small brief manner to you. So the heart pumps the blood into the larger arteries. From the larger arteries, the blood flows into the smaller arteries and then more smaller arteries, even smaller arteries. Ultimately, it lands up in the capillaries. The capillaries are very tiny vessels, and ultimately the blood is delivered to the cells from these capillaries. Now, once the cells have consumed the nutrients out of the blood, they need to send this remaining blood, or what remains of blood, back to the heart. What remains of blood is nothing but blood plasma, the watery part of the blood, and only about 70% of this blood plasma goes back to the heart via the cardiovascular system. 30% of this plasma makes its way into another system which helps deliver the plasma back towards the heart. Once in the lymphatic system, this fluid or the blood plasma is known as the lymph. It carries with it a lot of debris from the cells and a lot of pathogens, which means bacteria, virus, fungi that are attacking us all the time. So the lymph delivers the plasma back towards the heart, carrying with it a lot of the residue. Unfortunately, the lymphatic system has sometimes been described as the drainage system of the body, a term which I very strongly disagree with. Now, the cardiovascular system uses the heart as a pump, but the lymphatic system doesn't use any pump to push the lymph back towards the heart. It flows by its own pressure, and there are hundreds of lymphatic nodes spread all across the lymphatic system, all across the body. What these nodes do, these nodes act as small collection and purification centers. So when the lymph reaches there, guess who is waiting in the lymph nodes? Your army and your police force and your paratroopers. Who are they? They are your white blood cells. So your immune system has a lot of these leukocytes or white blood cells who are lying in wait in all these nodes. As soon as the lymph arrives there, along with all the pathogens, along with all the debris, a lot of battles take place. So your body's battles are fought in the lymph nodes. A lot of the battles take place here, and your body, your immune system gets rid of all the harmful bacteria, harmful viruses, and harmful fungi in the lymph nodes. Now, what does exercise do to help the lymphatic system or the lymph reach the heart faster? So remember that you are contracting and expanding your muscles when exercising. Naturally, when there is movement inside the body, this movement helps push the lymph and the lymph nodes, which speed up the lymph going back towards the heart, and which speed up these battles and your recovery. In times such as these, where the COVID-19 virus is playing havoc with the entire world, there is no better remedy to contest it, to fight it, better than your immunity. So keep your immunity boosted by exercising a lot. That's what I would say. In English, there is a very good saying that I like, which goes like this: use it or lose it. So exercise proves to us that when you use any system, muscular system, cardiovascular system, lymphatic system, your skin, your sweating, as you use your nervous system, your brain, when you use these more and more, they become better, sharper, stronger. There is a lot of rejuvenation going on in that. So remember, use it or lose it. So in closing, let me say that I may have sounded a controversy theorist in the beginning, but I am a very strong believer in exercise. In fact, I exercise almost every day, 30 minutes on the minimum to maybe 40, 45, 50, sometimes even an hour. I do a little bit of running, a little bit of climbing, a little bit of walking, and some weights. I try to keep all the muscle groups in my body active. So some exercises for the feet, some for the hands, some for the chest, some for the shoulder, some for the neck, back, everything. I try to mix my exercise regime in such a way so that I exercise the entire or all the portions of my body. I always believe that when you are exercising, you shouldn't take it easy. Your exercise should stress you a little bit more than comfortable. So always exercise and stretch yourself a little bit so that you are stressed in breathing, in sweating, in working out. Because remember, where there is no pain, there is no gain. I once again repeat, unfortunately, exercise has no role to play in weight loss. So if weight loss is your aim, exercise is not going to be something that's going to make you very happy. You must have seen it so many times. You exercise, maybe drop a little bit, but the minute you stop and go back to your routine life, you not only put on that weight again, but you even add on something else. So you may have started at 70 kilos. By exercising, you would come down to 68. Give it a break for a week and you find yourself on 72. This is what happens day in and day out. So erase that belief from your mind that exercise will help you to lose any weight. I am leaving a link to a paper written by Gary Taubes. If you need to know more about exercise and weight loss, I suggest you please do read that. So the two things that I would like to end with: use it or lose it, no pain, no gain. Thanks a lot.